You're listening to Rocket Night.
Are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights never dim. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. Not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down if you feel up good. Get on down.
This is Charisse with Rocket Night, and this afternoon we are speaking with Joe Symes and the Loving Kind. They are out of Liverpool, UK. They are coming out with an album at the end of the month called Portmanteau. I've listened to a couple of the cuts already, and I'm already in love, honestly. I really like it. Hi, guys.
Hello.
You just came out with Please, Please. I saw the lyric video, and the last one that we reviewed was It's All Too Late.
Yep, that's correct.
It's All Too Late, very psych rock.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I think kind of retro 60s psych rock, very melodic.
Revolver.
Yeah, exactly. And I know obviously everybody knows the Beatles are from Liverpool and tons of other bands. Every time I go to your area, I'm singing, Jerry and the Pacemaker songs. But what was your inspiration, or how did this song come about?
Believe it or not, when I started writing it, I was trying to write a sort of a similar song like This Charming Man by the Smiths.
Even though it never came out like that.
Even though it started off like that. I was like, it's sort of a bit of a Smithy thing. And then I left it for a day, and then I came back to it, and I started playing it slower, and it had a different title. I can't remember what the title was. It's all tonight or something like that, and then I just going on with it, and basically the song is covering about what's going on in the world today, of everything of we don't like to mention this word to say there's lots in there about politics, about society, about woke and stuff like the way things are now, and say what's going on, you know what I mean? That's what's going on. But then because makes it massive Beatles. That was the reason why I got involved in music, was the Beatles. And I thought I'll try and do something off Revolver, something on the lines of Rain by the Beatles, and If I'm Only Sleeping and stuff like that. It was basically based on Revolver. So when I went in the studio, wherever we went in, I had the song written, and I had the only guitarist. And the rest of the song just took on a life of its own in the control room. And I was saying to the engineer, I was saying, I wanted to something Tomorrow Never Knows, and that. And he went, yeah. And he had this thing on the floor, bashing it, going, and I was going, yeah, that's what I wanted. And I was I wanted to really lay back and dead deep in that, and it come out exactly the way I wanted it. And the video as well, we put the video together, and the video's got all hidden messages in different languages and stuff and all that. So for those who want to go and translate them, you can translate them. It's not offensive, it's not like that. I don't like using that word, I hear too much of it. But it's a really great rock song, and the video we put together was really, really great, I think. And it took us about 6 months to do, so there's a lot in there, there's a lot to take from it, and be it whatever people's interpretation of it, they're welcome to it, but for me, it was just a great video, something that we hadn't done like that before, and also the song, and the lyrics and everything, it just comes across exactly the way I wanted it, so I was very proud of it. I'm very proud of that one.
I think the psychedelic element, as Joe said, is definitely, in the middle, this complete insane backwards guitar and effects happen in the middle. So I think, from maybe your own, like when you first listen to it, I think as soon as you hear that, you think, well, of course, any forms of like psychedelia does have sort of backwards things and strange sounds and phasing on vocals and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd definitely say it is an example of maybe some subtle neo psychedelia in some sort of a way. So yeah, I'd say it was yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
say some of the
yeah.
video was inspired by Magical Mystery Tour, the film as well.
Yeah, no, in
The
a
way
way, yeah.
that it's filtered in different colours and all that, and there's bits, Magical Mystery Tour plays a part in that as well. And there was no drugs involved.
Yeah, honestly, just tea.
Just plenty of tea, like the Ruttles drank.
Just tea.
Plenty of tea.
What kind of tea are we talking about?
Just regular tea.
Normal tea. It's not the tea. It's not the tea that what the Ruttles were introduced to. It's just
milk
normal
and
tea.
sugar and biscuits.
And biscuits as well.
Oh, okay. I think since you said Revolver was kind of the inspiration, that was, psychedelic era in a sense.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's taking that kind of tone, but it's still very rocking. It's still hard. You still have it. It's definitely rock.
Yeah. Everything about it, even the bass line and everything and all that, it moves around everywhere. It's got so much going on in it, you're not going to be bored with it. And it needs to be played loud all the time.
Actually, you mentioned the bass line. That's what really stands out to me. The bass line. It's I keep hearing that, it's always, that to me, that's kind of the driving it is the bass line, but
it's like a loop.
Yeah.
It's always good to have, to be in a band that have good bass lines. You don't just put on a certain type of bass line for the sake of it. Obviously, it needs to serve the song, but it's always good when, because a lot of people, when you hear, a song and they hear a riff, for example, it's always made like a guitar riff. Now it's great to have a great guitar riff if the song needs a great guitar riff, like many great classic songs do. But then it's actually nice to, and the Beatles have this as well, and many other bands too, like the Who and for example, that they had like great riffs, but they had these killer bass lines as well that are equally as iconic, and they're like a riff in themselves. And if it's the bass that's driving the song, then it's kind of refreshing, because obviously it's not always like the guitar, because again it's like Drive My Car, that's got a memorable bass line. Day Tripper, well, it's kind of like the guitar and the bass together, for example, you know what I mean? And Paul McCartney was always kind of very sort of melodic and very creative when it came to composing bass parts for songs.
Well, I'm also thinking of a famous bass line. Another one, Bites the Dust. Everybody knows that song just by hearing the bass line. You don't
even though they lifted it from what was it, Good Time?
It's something from Chic, Good Times. That's where they took that from. Even that Bernard Edwards, because their bass lines are like Good Times.
That makes sense because the funk, it's funky. Yeah, you're right. And it was during that late 70s time period. That totally makes sense. A lot of the stuff comes from either Motown or something. Everybody's lifted from somebody.
Yeah, the influence comes from everywhere, doesn't it? If, as you said, with the last song we were talking about, if they're not the influence of that song, I don't think that would have come out the way it did. It's not me like ripping it off. It's just, it's the feel of it.
It's the inspiration.
The inspiration for it, what I mean?
It's all too late.
Well, very cool song. And then you just came out with Please, Please. I love the acoustic guitar. I love the fact that it's acoustic, and the melody I wrote down. It's really sweet. It's a very romantic song. You know?
It is.
It's a love song.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's a love song.
We were on BBC Radio Merseyside last week getting interviews, and our friend Billy O used to DJ. He said, "What's the song about?" And I said, "It's a love song, plain and simple." I wrote it about a relationship I was in a couple of years ago, which is no longer. But you know, that's what I wrote it. But the strange thing about the song is the weird thing is, I can't remember how I wrote it. Or that's weird. It's like I remember when I wrote It's All Too Late. I remember when I wrote A Place Called Our Own, DP. But when did you write it? I'm like, I don't know. I can't remember. It just sort of crept up and it appeared. And, you know, it's everything about that song. I mean, as I said, the new album is full of them. 10 tracks like that. And all the string arrangements on it with the string quartet and stuff and all that really lifted that. When we had it on the studio in the control room and our bass player hit the string section on it, he had a tear in his eye.
Wow. So the production, you have really full versions of a lot of your songs, strings and all.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, sorry, going back to that instance. Obviously, because we're a three-piece band, our bass player Alan Welsh, he couldn't be here today, unfortunately. But Alan, we were sitting there, and it was still like the rough mix and the string. I think it was actually a double quartet on that song, so it was like eight string players. But I remember like he came a bit late on that session because I think he had to take care of something, a family affair. But when he turned up, you're like, okay, what have you done today? And we put the strings down on that song. He went, okay, let's have a listen. And we played it back, just a rough mix. And we were sitting there, like, oh, it's great, that, isn't it? And because he heard it for the first time, his face kind of went, oh wow, this like big shine,
an epiphany.
Yeah, it was like almost like, oh my god, I never thought it was going to turn out that way. And all that. And it was like right, yeah, we all like it. It's worked great.
I mean, the new album itself it's got a mixture of like instruments on it. We've got a trombone on there on 2 tracks. It's very one song. It's very Mardi Gras with a trombone on. You know, there's a mixture. There's an influence of Burt Bacharach on there as well. A lot of Beatles.
I'm definitely picking that up. And then I hate to say the O word, but Oasis. Yet they copped the Beatles as well, right? I mean,
they just took everyone's songs and put different lyrics on it, you know. And I think that's really bad, you know. But you know, if ever I thought a song in my hand sounded exactly the same as something else, I'd just drop it and go no. But this new album, we've played it to a few close friends, and one friend said it's like a 21st century revolver. There's that much difference on it. It's like, hang on, you know, it's all good songs, all played on acoustic, but it's the arrangements that have gone into it. It's like, you know, you got the last song is like a 5-minute like anthem with heavy strings on it, but it's really catchy and all that. We've got other instruments that we used on the album. What was that for? So the Indian.
There's a track on there that's again, it's like a nice sort of like ploddy sort of like rock pop song. It's called Stepping Out Tonight. It's the penultimate song on the album, and again, nice acoustic guitar, nice guitar parts. Got a lovely mellotron on it. Again,
mellotron, I love it.
Yeah, and it's also got only very, very subtle, but it's got it's an instrument called, and I need to pronounce this correctly. It's called a swai mandel, which is an Indian harp. Just plucking little subtle things in it. I think it's like in the bridge part of the song.
It makes it kind of mystical sounding, like very, you know, Indian, yeah.
You listen to Strawberry Fields and it goes ding, 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 ding. That's the instrument we used on the track.
When I think of the mellotron, I think of the Zombies, one of my favorite bands. And they were considered to be kind of psych 60s too.
Well, if you
So,
if you listen to was it Odyssey and Oracle, their big album, which is a very psychedelic album, and it was recorded in Abbey Road, as well as most of the Beatles stuff and all that. Because they were very keyboard, they were more keyboard driven than guitar driven, and I think it's Rod Argent. It was the keyboard player. Obviously, he used to like a lot of like electric pianos, regular pianos, Hammond organs. But then, as that kind of 66, 67 period began, like the Beatles, like the Moody Blues and King Crimson a bit later, they started using the mellotron because they could recreate string sounds and flute sounds and choir sounds. And I mean, I think they re-released the Mellotron like in a digital form a few years ago, and now you can, program it any way you want. But back then, it was all these little tapes inside there. If you played one note, it'd last 5 seconds, then stop and rewind, and then go back again. I think with the digital version, you've kind of correct, so you can like hold a chord and it'll play, and it'll play forever. But you can like program it and say Beatles Mellotron sound number 4 and program that in, and you'll get that sound on a modern digital version. But it's a wonderful instrument. It's not the first time we've used a Mellotron. I think we used the Mellotron on one track on our second album, Phase 2. And I think we used a little bit on maybe a shot on the first album, but I can't remember which one it was. I think two or three times we definitely used a Mellotron. But hey, it's a great instrument. Who cares?
We have used the Mellotron. A little bit of a story for you. When we done our second album, we done a couple of days in Abbey Road.
Yeah.
And we actually seen the Mellotron that was used on Strawberry Fields, and they played
oh, wow.
even the bits that were on the White Album, they played it.
Yeah.
Like that. Look at that.
Holy cow. I mean, when you think of Liverpool, obviously you think of the Beatles, and it sounds like you were really influenced by them. I guess growing up there, you can't help but not be influenced by them, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even now, the Beatles are just getting bigger every single year, and like the tourist industry coming over to the Beatles, it's unbelievable to just take on another life of its own. You know what I mean? It's like there's all kinds. There's even a good friend of mine. When I go down and see him, he's got he's just his son's 3 years old, and he's got a little ukulele and starts singing "She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah" to me when I walk on the floor. He's got a little moth up like that. Yeah, yeah. What else can you say? It's timeless.
It is. It's almost like modern classical music, I guess.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, absolutely.
The Beatles getting compared to like great writers and like, classical music. I mean, you don't see the Stones getting that comparison. You know what I mean? It's something else,
Even though the Stones are a great band, and you can never take that away from them. But it's like only this week alone. It was about three days ago. It was like, on the Beatles Instagram page, they've just announced that they're re-releasing the complete 1964 US albums box set in its original mixes. And it's like, well, I think we sat there and said, well, do you know something? It's great because it doesn't matter whether it be like re-releasing on DVD, Blu-rays, or vinyls, or whatever, or hopefully there'd be a Rubber Soul box set maybe next year, fingers crossed. But it's like no matter if the Beatles release whatever in every few years, for me it's great because it can go on forever, and each time that they do like re-release whatever it may be, a box set or an album or whatever, and with bonus tracks and things, that will always reach a new audience. So every few years you'll get a new audience of Beatles fans to go, oh, that was my introduction to this re-released mono box set was my first introduction at age whatever and in whatever particular year, and then they pass it on and it goes on and on and on and on, and hopefully until for all eternity the Beatles will always be remembered.
Yeah, because even when I speak to young musicians that are teenagers, they say, oh, it's the Beatles that influenced me. And when you think about it, the music is what,
60 years old?
Or 60? Yeah, that's true, 60. Because if you think, about 1964. So yeah, you're right.
I'm so delighted you've taken a shine to me. You're so excited. Tell me, what do I need? going down on my knees. Please, please. No more surprises. You're taking your time with me. Hope for you rises, and as far as I can see, yes, you belong to me. Please, please. Won't you tell me what you're looking for? 'Cause it's true, it's you and I want more. I no longer fight it, and you no longer hide it when you squeeze your tears in me. I'm so excited, you're taking a shine to me. No more surprises, tell me what do I need? Please, please. Please, please, what you gonna do now? Please, please, what you gonna do now?
It's like, you know, we're not only influenced by music, we're influenced by, you know, films and writers and such things. You know, we really love our sort of, you know, cult pop culture, you know, and you know, a band like the Beatles, you know, they've been together for like over 60 years. I mean, obviously, if you might notice, there's some nice
Oh, Boris
music
Karloff, I
in the
see there.
background, and
Yeah.
you know, my personal favorite there is Alfred Hitchcock. He's
Hitchcock, I
my favorite
see.
director,
Yeah.
and
You guys
a
like old
lot,
movies.
a lot of his films, the Hitchcock films, especially his very very early ones, I think by the next decade they're going to be reaching like stuff like The Lady Vanishes and the original what was it ones, Lady Vanishes, and like the original 39 Steps, for example. They were made in the mid 1930s. In the next decade they're going to be 100 years old.
Geez, I know it's
So,
hard to believe.
you know, and like many silent films that are in the 20s, they're already reaching that 100-year-old peak. You know, Charlie Chaplin films, very early, Lauren Hardy stuff, and for example, and other like great, like Nosferatu, the original
Oh
Nosferatu, that
God,
was
I
made in
love that. Yeah.
1982. You know, and filmmakers today are still going, they were great, even though they're all in very dark, black and white, and silence and everything. You know,
Film noir. Yeah, it has the very moody
yeah.
the way
Just
they film stuff.
one more thing before we move on. I painted 3 of them paintings behind
Oh,
us.
did
Oh
you?
yeah,
Oh my
yeah, yeah.
goodness, I love them. Wow. So you're an artist as well. And
That one, and that one.
holy cow. So I'm sure
All
you
over there.
do. You probably designed the album cover for sure.
Yeah, come up with that, and because Colin's the whiz on the computer, he put it together. So I was like, we need that, we need that, we need that. You know, he was saying, what about that and that? You know, he put it together on the computer, and I just, you know, yeah. It's we even did the video. We designed all the videos ourselves and all that. So we don't answer to no one.
You know, the artwork we do ourselves, the videos, the posters, everything else to match. You know, it's like, why get somebody else to do it when you just do it yourself? We've got all the ideas, you know,
Yeah.
all 3 of us together. And if anyone has any additional ideas, we can do that. So it's like everything's in house. obviously Joe writes the songs and we colour in our parts as well and suggest other ideas when needed, and everything's all agreed on. And again, so we're the whole complete package. We're the whole thing. It's very rare that when we would say the exception of say like engine, obviously the studios that we've usually recorded in is Crosstown Studios, and a guy called John Lawton, he obviously owns the studio and he's the engineer and everything. He suggests ideas too. So obviously, he's like a great addition to sort of the the non-band member team, you know what I mean, and stuff. So but obviously, it's any sort of other things again with artwork and stuff like that. We do it all, and obviously, Joe's been like that. This is like his hobby, and he's been a painter since like when you were a teenager. So, you've done some other things before, and I said, "Oh, can you paint me like what was colourful Rod Serling?" Yeah, sure. And I get Alan Poe's over there too, like so. Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. Well, one thing I don't know much about is the history of the band. I noticed the first album, EP, whatever, came out 2017, but have you been together a long time? And have you been in other bands? Tell me a little bit about the history.
Basically, what it was the band that officially was 2016. And before that, I was just playing acoustic guitar gigs on my own, open mic nights and stuff like that. I'd been like 2 previous bands with me brother and before that, and other members and stuff. And then Paul split from the band that he was in. So then Ethan and I said, well, I'll play some bongos on the gigs. So playing bongos and stuff and all that. And we started just playing loads and loads of gigs. And we auditioned a good few people, which they were just like, he's in back, it's just, you're tearing your hair out. You're tearing your hair out all the time. God, like, you know what I mean? So then, to cut long story short, it's like, auditions, so many people say, waste your time. Yeah. And like, you just, in the end, I thought, I'll just ask my mate when I was in my first band with, does he want to play bass? And he just jumped right in with right away. So
that's Alan.
That's Alan. So that's what's happened since then. So we've done the first album, second album, a double A-sided single. We released a 4-track EP about 18 months ago, and it actually charted in the charts as well. And now we're just doing this album, which will be released on the 27th. But we've also got 3 more albums ready to go after this.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to start recording the next album in November.
Yeah.
So you guys are writing all the time.
Oh,
yeah, I listened to you on Spotify. You did have a couple of older stuff. And I have to say, your music is what I call real music. I hear a lot of stuff, but you have real melodies, real lead guitar, real riffs, it's real. I mean, that sounds strange to say, but it's like it's a real craft. It's a real song.
You're not the first person to use those exact words.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very good friend of ours, Monica and Ken. They do their own. They do a podcast now called Crazy Old Folks, and we'll be speaking to them in the next couple of weeks. They've been they were some of the I think they were like the first real champions of our music in the US. So they've been supporting us since the very beginning, and again, two very dear good friends of ours. And Monica said, yeah, he said the great thing about you guys, it's real music. It's real music, and you just said the exact same thing. It was like
it sounds classic, but it was
one person
today.
saying that. I think we're on sort of right thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I like about it. I mean, if I listen to it, I would think, oh, this is from the 60s or the 70s or whatever, but it was written today. Did you guys write a lot of your music during COVID? A lot of the album?
I got the EP together at a place called Amsterdam. That was done over COVID. But the songs for the new album, there was I think there was about
a few of them were there. Yeah.
I think there was about 6 written for the new album. So the rest come out like during that time and stuff and all that in a very strange period. But the rest of the things here, we've got like the 4th album, and we've got a 5th and a 6th album. We've probably got a 7 or 8. But I'm writing all the time. It's whatever. It's a meter. It's just going. Going as well. There's some songs that come out like that full in like 5-10 minutes. some songs will take a few weeks to get the lyrics right to give it a good story, like, it's got to relate to stuff and all that. Then there's the melodies that'll come with it, and then the pre-production and stuff and all that, and like, sometimes you're going off your head with pre-production and all that. Oh God,
It must be done now.
it's got to be done. I mean, the pre-production on this new album for me was really full on, because it's just, I had to sit there and listen to it. I mean, I've got to put that in it. And it's just sending text messages to Colin saying, note that down, stuff, and it's like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like,
it's
note
true.
that down,
it's true.
and now it's come out and everything, and the artwork, the presentation. There'll be a booklet inside it as well with lyrics and pictures and stuff and all that. That's the first what we've done. It's really for me, it's our most ambitious thing to date.
Absolutely. I mean, the title of it is portmanteau, and a lot of people have said, asked us, what it means. The word portmanteau, it has several meanings, but the one that we took was a portmanteau was an old Victorian travelling case. So if you were like going on long journeys, it'd be this big case, and you'd open it up, and there'd be a mirror and a little wash basin you put water in, and he's had these little compartments, like little drawers, you put like little things in and stuff and all that. And it was kind of like, each track was kind of like, because it was like an album that's full of like, lots of different types of songs that are coloured in, and lots of different instruments and other ideas and everything and all. It's like a kaleidoscope. It was like each song is like a little drawer. What's in that drawer? Oh, there's a bit of like New Orleans Mardi Gras jazz was in that drawer, and there's some nice symphony orchestra in that drawer, and there's a nice little Indian harp in that drawer, and also nice harmonies in that drawer, and so on. So it's like,
yeah. Basically, what it's about. It's just a collection of absolutely different things. Each song is totally different. The arrangements on it, the instruments and stuff. It's there's the harmonies on the album are probably our best to date. Really,
absolutely
tight as anything.
All of you were singing for the harmonies. Yeah. We're almost out of time, but what is something that you would like the public to know about your band, or any news, let's say what's going on for the next few months?
Just check us out. The main website is www.joesymesandthelovingkind.co.uk. You'll find everything about us there, information on, previous interviews and reviews and
the biographies there. It's on there. There's music, and there's all quotes from around the world. Celebrity endorsements as well from the UK and the US. There's all kinds on there, and the album was released on the 27th of September and will be available from our website. And it's well worth the money.
Oh, yeah.
Well worth the money.
Do you have physical copies as well, or is it a download? Yeah. Oh, you do? Yeah, oh, wow.
CD, it'll be available on CD and download, and you can pre-order it now too.
The CD that's got the booklet in and stuff and all that, so you have all the lyrics. So it's like having Sergeant Pepper and looking over the phrases and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And you ship to the United States as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good to know.
We ship all over the world, everywhere.
Yeah, no limitations.
Mm-hmm. I will keep in touch with you too, since I'll be over there in your area in November, and I'll cross my fingers that you have a gig. And if you don't, I could still maybe meet up with you and do an interview in person. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
You're listening to Rock at Night.
The introductory song, Get On Down, is from blues artist Billy Bass Alford. Look for his music at ReverbNation.com.